City, California. You're listening to The Second Column with Joe, Mike, Carlos, and Sean.
Hello and welcome to the Second Column podcast. We are joined this week by comedian Kevin Ford. Kevin, welcome.
Woo!
Welcome.
All right.
Kevin is about to drink the last Budweiser Chelada that we had in the fridge. That was
like months ago.
From the Mark
So
Thomas.
Budweiser Clamato,
Yeah.
not Chelada.
No, it's called a Chelada.
Is it?
It's called a Chelada.
It's called a Chelada, but it says Budweiser and Clamato.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You know
Too many names.
What's kind of funny for this for me is I think that this is the thing we've mentioned most on the show.
This
is
would
the
be our-
Budweiser Clamato.
Yeah.
It was mentioned last week. It was mentioned
Every week that we had it on.
every week we had it on. It was mentioned every week after the week we had it on, I'd assume.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think this is like our reoccurring.
This is our product integration.
Yeah.
Eventually, when we
Yeah.
get our sponsorship. So, Kevin, why don't you give that a rip and see what you think?
All
is
right,
it worthy
here
of
we
a
go.
sponsorship?
Good luck. And Kevin is a fine connoisseur of alcohol and other substances. What? He's processing. He's licking his
How
lips.
is it? How is it?
He's
It tastes like what it is. It tastes like I'm drinking
Like
Clamato
shit?
juice
Yeah.
and beer.
right
Do
on.
you
Wow.
believe that those things should be put together though?
I have no idea why
No,
anybody would
it-
do that.
It feels like
Oh, the aftertaste is killing me.
yeah.
Oh, the roof of my mouth is coated in horribleness every time my tongue touches it. Oh God.
Did it kind of it took the wind out of me with my one sip, like literally.
Like a punch in
I'm
the
not
gut.
even saying that. Like I'm not exaggerating. It took a little bit of the wind
You
out.
should have seen
That's
the look
not
on
normal.
Sean's face, like when Irish Sean Kearney took a drink. Now Sean doesn't really drink that much, but
Uh-oh.
he tried this, and the look on his face was priceless.
Yeah, you look
Yeah.
horrified. You look like
God.
when you saw Mike's hat.
Yeah.
Which-
Well, yeah, because Sean hasn't seen it yet.
Right.
And I do. I want to.
Oh,
make,
yes.
I want to make just a few comments, if I may, at the top of the show. I had a very interesting experience last week
Right,
after
so
doing the show.
You're back. You were in New York last
Yeah,
week.
I was
Sean
in New York and coming back, just kind of listening. Mike sent me a text message right when I got back and told me to listen to the show. So
Listen to the
I did.
podcast.
Listen to the podcast.
Listen to it.
Bring you the ROM.
No, it
ROMs.
wasn't. I didn't say
I
that.
want the ROMs.
I said, hey, man, funny podcast. You got to listen to it.
Hey,
No,
man.
you didn't say that.
That was-
Read me what
Funny
I
thing
said.
about a text message is,
Read me
that
what I
there's a
said.
paper trail, buddy. I don't
Exactly.
have my phone with me right now because
All right.
unlike the podcast
How very
last week,
convenient.
I turned off my phone.
All right. So last week.
So last week, I listened to this podcast, and it was a little bit surreal, kind of not being there, but still chiming into myself. I felt like my dad when he watches the news or a Bulls game. I was yelling things out, and I have just a few notes that I just want to, just a list
Yeah.
of things.
Hit
One,
us.
Mike's hat. It does. None of you guys managed to do it justice, and I think everyone here on this podcast, and John Grady included. Very, very good with their words. Very good orators.
Thank you.
Very good storytellers.
Right, we tried. We described it. We said
You
he looked like an
described
old
it.
prospector.
Yeah.
We said he.
Sure.
Yeah, we looked like a
It doesn't do it justice.
He looks like Hugh Jackman in Van Helsing. Anybody?
That's the closest I've seen. If you replace the words Hugh Jackman with Joe Torre. I think Joe Torre and Val.
Joe Torre at the
in
Saddle
Van
Ranch.
Helsing. Yeah.
Joe Torre and Van Helsing.
And then I also want to say a couple things. I don't believe tomatoes grow on trees. You had mentioned taking a tomato from a tree for a
No,
woman.
Apple. You didn't listen.
Actually, through the powers of
Oh.
rewind, I rewound it and heard tomato.
Ooh.
And one last thing is, I don't know if you guys know this, but the Mystery Science Theater 3000 guys, they do a thing now on the internet where you can go and download.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
You can go and download
And check out.
like an MP3 that they record
Oh,
while
yeah.
they're watching a movie.
Riff
So you can-
tracks.
Riff tracks. So you
Yeah,
can put
seen
on one of your favorite movies and then lay this track underneath.
Nice.
Kind of like
Yeah.
Pink Floyd and Wizard of Oz.
Great
and you
idea.
can have them doing it. Very great idea.
Very nice.
I tried it one time. I gotta be honest, and I wasn't impressed.
No.
I did it for The Fifth Element, and like it's really hard to get the timing right. Of
course.
And I swear, like even when I had it down, like as the movie went on, like the timing was still kind of off, and I kept on having to pause and fix it. Yeah,
Was this on cassette?
and it wasn't that funny.
Yeah, it's because you have a VCR.
Oh, that's
yeah, because it's only Mike doing it. It's like Mike and
Yeah.
It's not
All right, so
Well, I
it's a
just
good
like-
idea, but okay, anyway.
I
Oh, okay,
just like to
sorry.
announce
No, it's okay.
that I'm going to post my own for last week's episode because there were quite a few times where I wanted to chime in with something.
Can you think of one thing that you were like you were biting on
God,
your
there
tongue
were
and you wanted to
just
say?
there were quite a few things.
Okay.
There was
We had some great moments.
there were some really good moments, and I felt like I I could have chimed in with one or two things. I could have defended my own honor in a few moments where I kind of got on the chopping
When Sean
block.
called, or Carlos called for Sean's removal.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
right.
Well, he never brought us food, so
Well,
no offense.
Well,
Sean.
neither of you.
Grady brought food.
Hey, I'm
Grady
part of.
made strawberry shortcake for us.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Hey, I'm like, hey,
I'll-
I'm part of
Joe's
the show.
looking
I'll-
at Kevin
I'll
right now.
Guy.
I'll cook something next time.
Joe's looking at Kevin right now.
Oh, great. We're getting
No,
pot
no,
brownies
no.
next time.
Oh,
Whoa, the wrong
I don't make those. I buy them.
Right.
Can we ask for the removal of Joe?
No, we cannot ask for the removal of the most important part of the show.
Oh.
No.
Hey, we've had Kevin on the show quite a bit, but just for any new listeners, you want to give them a rundown of Kevin Ford?
Kevin Ford
Is a great man.
Kevin Ford is a
Yes.
great man.
Yeah.
He's a
I think he's one of the funniest comedians in
love
Los
to.
Angeles.
no, he's a great guy. Kevin Ford is a member of the improv group The Great Adventure, which can be seen all over Los Angeles. He's also famously the creator of the cartoon Agent Bear,
Agent Bear.
Where can we get that?
which has been
Yeah.
You have to go to
Where
Kevin's
can I see
apartment
it?
on Hollywood
Oh.
Boulevard. It's the
And
only
you
place-
can watch 5 minutes of
can
it
watch
from my documents folder.
So if you go to Kevin Ford C Drive, Kevin Ford My Documents / Agent Bear, you can see Agent
That
Bear.
sounds good. I'm gonna try that out.
It remains one of the. I still have people who talk to me about Agent Bear or ask me about
Yeah.
it.
It's like the Chinese
never met-
democracy.
I was just about to say,
It is-
Chinese democracy.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
the Chinese democracy of the cartoon world. So.
Yes.
Although, unlike Chinese democracy, there's no sound to mine yet.
Even better. Then we could do a riff track.
What a
on that.
letdown! What a letdown it would be to go to your apartment and watch that with no sound, and you just go. This is where the car would go.
Yeah. I do the sound effects as we're watching.
Kevin is also a great stand-up comedian. I saw him do a set in front of what was pretty much a retired audience, and he killed. So.
Was there sound?
A retarded
sound.
audience?
I think
Retired audience.
retired
I think I killed Doug's chances of ever having a show there again.
No, Kevin did some great. Kevin, it was so funny because this audience, I'd say that the average age was about
54,
59,
yeah.
something like
That's-
that. in
that's
this
generous.
room. And,
We're very nice.
and I think your first line of the show was like, "How about Snoop Dogg?"
Yeah.
or something like that. It was
Yeah.
like, and I literally just like looked over everybody's head and saw your joke like disappear into the ether. It was really funny. Then you started off a couple jokes too, like the deal with MySpace, or you brought up all these great things that
Who here owns an Xbox? Anybody? Who's got an Xbox?
and
Yeah.
it's just Mike holding his hand up. Right? So you direct all of your humor at Mike.
Except for the Snoop Dogg.
Except for the Snoop Dogg. But yeah, Kevin killed Kevin with his unique brand of joke delivery.
He may have killed somebody at that retirement place.
Yeah,
None of them had heard of Two Girls, One Cup. That
was the
killed.
funniest
Yeah.
part. That was the funniest part because there were these two Asian ladies, like in their 60s, sitting in the front row.
Oh, yeah.
And you started talking about Two Girls, One Cup, and they kept on I think I might have mentioned this on a past podcast, but they kept on looking at me to see if they should laugh because they didn't know what was like or whatever. So they kept on like they would smile like. And they would turn their head towards me, and then I would start. And if I laughed, they would laugh. And if I didn't laugh, they would just like quietly turn back towards each other.
And start eating.
Right? Yeah, and continue eating their salad or whatever.
That's very funny. That reminds me, my grandmother is really hard of hearing, and she recently got she spent a lot of money on hearing aids, and they don't work that well.
Yeah.
So she does the same thing when she's watching movies, like in my
Yeah.
family or at a theater.
Wow.
And I'm really good about it. Like I just kind of let it go and kind of ignore it, and I talk louder around her and stuff like that. But my mom and her sister just are at that point where it's her mom, it's their mom, so they don't give a shit. So we'll be watching like Philadelphia, and they'll just at one point they'll look at each
Oh,
other
my
and
God.
just start laughing, and she'll start laughing just to get her going.
No.
And like,
That's
and you don't
terrible.
really have to laugh. You just have to kind of smile like this and kind of shake your head and smile. And she can't hear, so she thinks that laughter might be coming out. So in the middle of, like, and I have AIDS, and it's like,
Right.
oh, no. And they love to do it.
That was the
just to
ending of
fuck
the
with
movie.
everybody
Yeah.
else.
Yes,
Sick joke.
So she liked the big comedy sequence at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
She liked the
She
flashback.
loved that.
The flashback comedy sequence of his life as he.
And she's definitely the kind of person who will see a movie like that and have the comment, "Oh, it was great,"
no.
What'd you think? What about Schindler's List? That was great.
Right.
Wow.
You don't see the black and white comedies anymore.
Yeah.
Grandma loved it. Oh, that's so great, Sean. That's horrible, but
That's
it's
horrible.
it's
She's a
great.
very sweet lady.
I'm
though.
sure she is. And
She-
if you can't have fun with stuff like that, what?
Yeah,
you know,
well,
exactly.
Then what can you have fun with?
You'd get mad at your grandma if you couldn't.
Yeah.
You know. And she wants to laugh more than she wants to not laugh.
And well, let me just. I've got one more story to redeem myself to any listeners who would be mad at me forsaking my grandmother on the show.
Oh.
And the story is one time we were having a garage sale at our house, and she was kind of sitting on the porch and like selling things, and somebody went to buy a vacuum cleaner, and she was selling it for like $7, and they wanted $5, and it went back and forth. $7. No, $6. No, $7. I'm strong on 7, and finally she was firm. She finally gave it to him for $5, and as they were walking away, they loaded it into their car, and they're way at the end of the driveway, about to pull away, and my grandmother goes, "Hey!" and flips them off as they drive away, and then turns to me and looks at me like, "Huh? How about that? I still got it." And it was probably one of the most amazing things. And she co-signed on all my loans so I could go to college. So I love her
Oh,
very
that's
much.
a beautiful thing.
That's a very beautiful
I love your inappropriate grandma.
Yeah, she's awesome like
She's
that.
fantastic.
So she would laugh at Philadelphia anyways.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fuck that. She's so un-PC.
Grandma, what was Tom Hanks funnier in, Big or Philadelphia? I don't know.
I was like Castaway.
Tough one.
Castaway.
Yeah.
She loved him in Castaway. She thought that was funny.
She lomes Legion humor.
I like
Yeah.
Bonfire of the
Legion.
Vanities.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. She hated. but she had no hearing.
way to take that one out.
But even she hated Joe versus the volcano.
Oh.
Even she was like,
No,
that
nobody
was.
saw it.
She flicked off the screen when she watched
Yeah.
it. She hated it. All right,
Nobody
cool.
likes that.
Sean, anytime you want to share an inappropriate grandma story,
Yeah,
this
I've
is
got
a
a
welcome.
few.
This is a welcome venue for
I've
it.
got
So,
a few.
Inappropriate rainbow.
all right. So real quick, I'll mention this because he's one of our listeners. Mike and I did the Doug Driesel Jr. roast this week, which was a lot of fun. We had a good time. So it was a different roast than we'd ever seen before, just because it was like we didn't know all the comedians. Not all the comedians knew us, so we
my
didn't get a chance to
favorite-
roast other people, but
No,
we got a
but
chance
my-
to roast Doug. We got a
My
chance to roast Doug.
favorite thing was when they called us out. They said, this is hero style, and then I just heard this.
I think it
Wow.
was just
Megan, probably.
I think it was Ed or Doug, something like that.
It was great.
Yeah, so that was pretty pretty funny too.
But then the song went over really well, and then
Our
we had a
song-
good cheer by the end. You know?
Right. We performed as hero style, and we did a song. It went over well. People liked it. I think that
What was the song about? What was the just?
We compared Doug to Jesus.
Oh, whoa.
So, they both wear sandals. Their shirts flow like robes. They always hang out with guys. They're never with a woman. Like,
Jeez.
we found a lot of these parallels.
Compared him to Jesus.
Right. So we compared him
Yeah.
to Jesus. But it was a lot of fun.
And Jesus was a stand-up.
My favorite thing about it was, and this is what cracked me up about the experience, and I always remember, was the back of the room filled up as the show went on, and it was for people who were robbing for the next show, so they didn't all know Doug. But like they were laughing along with all the comedians, so like all of them now have this impression of Doug, like that's just like Doug.
Oh.
Even though they don't know who the guy is, but like if they ever see Doug performing on stage, they're gonna be like, it's the sandals guy who paints his one toenail.
Oh.
Like it was great. So that was a unique,
Ahoy.
funny experience. It was pretty good.
He
Yeah,
says that.
exactly. What? Doug also says ahoy. So anyway, Doug,
Well
ahoy,
said.
ahoy
Well
to
put.
you, Doug. Congratulations on 2 years in comedy. Good for you, buddy.
Good job.
Let's see, and then another piece of a business we want to get to before we talk about the column. Kevin, you dropped your phone in the toilet.
Oh, what? What happened? Dude?
Real quick. Yeah, it was.
No, take your time.
Well,
We have half an hour.
me and Ed have kind of been Ed Galvez. If you don't know who I'm talking about, we started doing this thing where we get really drunk at movies,
Right.
and so we got really drunk. We watched, what was that, Incredible Hulk, I think, and then afterwards we came back to my place, and so I get back to my place first. First thing I gotta do is pee like a racehorse. I'll say.
Racehorse, sure.
Yes. So and then while I'm peeing, Ed calls my cell phone. I figured he's look like like he wants to come up or something. So it was urgent. I normally wouldn't pull out my cell phone while I'm peeing.
Right.
But yeah, so I pull it out and I'm peeing and I can't even. It's a flipper, So
Yeah.
as I'm trying to flip the thing up, it falls in the toilet.
Oh.
And
Did
I
you take it out
well, of course, yeah, right away.
with your hands?
while I was peeing.
In the pee water.
Oh.
in the midst of the stream.
What hand?
yes.
What? Which hand?
The phone hand, my left hand. Yeah.
His
Thank
phone-
God.
the phone
Thank
hand.
God.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, believe me, it ain't gonna be called a
penis hand
phone
was-
hand anymore.
Luckily, the phone hand isn't the same as the penis hand. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Well, or the
Yes.
the piss hand. Yeah.
Right.
Well, the funny thing is that your penis hand is literally a penis growing out of your hand.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Folks
If you haven't
at
seen
home
that-
can't see
If
this.
you haven't
but-
seen Kevin's penis hand, it's a big part of his comedy routine.
yeah.
Between Kevin's penis hand and Mike's hat, we
Right.
need to be a video
We should do a
podcast.
podcast.
It's no problem, man. You know, I've actually had to stick my hand in my own piss. Before.
You know, one time,
Yeah, but yours was by choice. His was by
Yeah.
necessity.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't by choice.
Was it, Mike?
No,
I think it
didn't
was.
tell you guys a story. I was working for this guy named Jerry Del Caliano, and
way to
he
call it
was
out.
Of the Newark, New Jersey, Del
Yeah.
Caliano.
he was this just over the top sales guy, and like I was doing an internship, like into sales, and I won't get into the whole thing.
Hey,
but
everybody.
he was a dick. He was just kind of a dick of a boss. Like I just didn't like the guy, and he was just way too over the top and just too in your face about everything. So one time I had to take a piss, but you had to take a key down to the bathroom. So I went in and I opened the door, and then I was taking a piss, but I was holding the key in my hand.
Oh.
And while I was taking a piss, I dropped the key into the toilet. And then I'm like, oh no, I got to stick my own hand in my own piss and pull out. This job couldn't get any worse.
The worst part wasn't your own piss; it was that you had to use your own hand
Ah.
and not another's.
Oh.
So, I sucked it up. Part of it bothered me because it was a public restroom. I'm like, I don't want to catch any diseases or anything.
But it was only your piss in it.
But some douchebag could have taken a
What?
big shit like before and could have had some.
Yeah, what an
Rare-
asshole to
what
take
an
a shit in a
asshole.
toilet.
In a
You
toilet.
could have had some.
No pun
Oh,
intended.
that is
Yeah.
truly.
He
that
could
is
have had
truly
some
nasty.
rare form of Ebocha or Ebola.
I had a.
Carlos.
I
But
had
anyway.
whoa.
Carlos,
What?
then Kevin.
No. What were you doing?
I didn't finish my story.
No, it sounded like you.
Oh,
finished.
Joe,
There's
can
more?
I-
There's more?
Hold on, can I do something
Yeah,
after
there's more.
Kevin? So
Everyone-
Carlos, then Kevin, then
Everyone
me.
calm
It
down.
was,
Everyone calm down. Mike, conclude your story. Everybody else has things.
It
they
was
wanna
the
say.
meanest. It was kind of one of the mean things I did, though. It was like one of my last days there, and I'm not a mean person or anything. But anyway, so I stuck my hand in, got the key out, but then instead of washing the key with soap and water, I just wiped it off.
Okay, and then you carried it back to him.
Yes, and I
Very
So you
mean.
still had urine stuff all over.
Oh,
it.
well, no, I wiped it
Wow.
with a towel, but I just didn't wash it with soap and water.
No, but you said it was mean because it still had piss on it. So if it was
Right.
mean for
Well,
him to touch it later, it was
technically-
mean
that means
for you to be
technically-
holding it.
Piss
I
all
did
over
wipe it
yourself.
off, but I didn't like use soap and water.
Exactly. So,
So
what I'm
whatever
saying
you
is your
did to
hand's still
him,
dirty.
you
Yeah.
did to yourself.
Do you hear what you're
Essentially, but it was my
saying?
own
Do you hear
piss.
when you talk, Mike?
No, but you said some guy. I made this guy touch something relatively close to my piss. It wasn't
know
my
what?
piss though because it was dry.
That-
Right, which you also touched.
Well,
you touch.
you finished at such a high note. I'm gonna bypass my story.
All right,
Oh.
we will bypass Carlos' story.
Wow.
I know Kevin had something.
Yeah. Real good. I got a similar story to that. I used to work at a video store for this crabby old Korean man, right? And he would just yell at me all the
was
time.
that the name of the store?
No. Well, real good. The name of this. It was a video.
Ballbuster video. No.
Kevin, how would he yell at you?
It was called BJ Video. No, seriously. And the only reason he named it that is when he started the store, it used to be next to a liquor store called JB Video. So when he's filling out the paperwork, the guy's like, "Well, what's the name of the store?" And he's like, "Oh, I hadn't thought about it." And he just looked. He's like, "Oh, JB Liquor. Oh, BJ Video. Okay." And then like for the first few years, nobody went to there because they thought it was just a porno
Porno.
place.
yeah.
How did
He's a crabby old Korean man.
how did he used to yell at you?
Why nobody come in?
He wouldn't.
Everybody ask for a BJ.
PJ.
Wait,
What is PJ?
Don't leave my daughter
Kevin,
alone.
can you
Yeah.
give us a,
I know
an
PJ
example?
and B.
Can you give an
he-
example
he
of how
would-
he would yell at you?
He wouldn't just like what is the matter with you? Like, what are you doing?
So stuff that you're like.
Was he North Korean? Was he North Korean? Or
Just
just
Korean.
kinda hard to tell,
I
yeah.
couldn't figure it out. Anyway, so it was just me and him running the store, right? And this one day, there was this one summer where he was letting me run the store by myself.
Yeah.
And so we're working in the morning, and then he tells me like, oh, there was 2 bathrooms, right? There was a bathroom behind the counter for employees and a bathroom like out in the midst of the video rentals for the customers. and the customer's toilet was broken. So he's like, "Don't let anybody use the customer toilet because it's broken." Like, blah, blah, like made a real big point about it, right? So I'm like, okay. So anybody comes in like, hey, you can't use that toilet. We got one back here, right? Anyway, so this dad and his little kid come in, right? And they rent like a kid's video, and while I'm ringing up the video for the dad, the little kid comes up and he's like, Dad, the toilet's broken, it won't flush. And I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. And like the dad's like, oh, it's okay, blah blah blah, and they leave. And I go and look, and this kid left the shit in the toilet, right? And I'm hitting the handle, the thing won't flush, and I'm like, fuck. So I wait till nobody's in the store. I wait till the store's empty, and then I take one of the plastic video bags, stick my hand in it, and then reverse it. You know, pull
reverse
it,
trick.
You know, like kind of like a reverse plastic
dog
glove
when you walk a dog. Yeah.
Right, and then but I gotta be really careful because the customer bathroom is far away from the employee bathroom.
So
right,
now you gotta walk across.
like the whole store. Yeah. So like,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
So I'm waiting.
Hey, sir.
So like I wait till the place is empty, and then I do the plastic bag thing, and I go and I grab the little kid's dookie out of the toilet, and I go out and like there's nobody in the store, and I'm like running across the store, you know, hoping nobody's gonna come in and see me doing this.
Right.
And then I plunk the toilet into the employee toilet.
Nice.
And flush that.
Right.
And then I gotta grab like some paper towels because it was a white linoleum, and I left like little clearish brown droplets along the way, so I had to mop up my trail. You know,
I would love it if he's like walking across, and the guy's like comes in, he's like, wait, do you have a copy of Philadelphia?
there's no time.
I had this vision of Kevin running past the video, and out of the corner of his eye, he sees Hope floats, and in his brain he goes, "No, it doesn't."
He goes, "What are you doing here? Stop it!"
Okay, all right, Mike, you're up. I want to just see this. I want to see this tennis match of toilet stories back and forth.
Can it
back
get
and
worse?
forth.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like,
I don't know if it gets out there. Kevin, that's a tremendous story.
That's
great.
amazing.
Thank you.
Tremendous
Oh
story.
my
Thank you for making this the venue you used to
Yeah.
share it publicly. I appreciate
What's the matter
it.
with you?
Oh man.
I said no. One, use the bathroom.
Yeah, I can't imagine why he was frustrated. he's got video surveillance of you running with shit across the middle of the room.
Yeah. Devil heard my standing there. Yeah.
Right.
Oh
when
man,
they train future employees, like no.
a friend of mine.
They show that video. Yeah.
A friend of mine had he had like a job like that where he had like an Asian guy. I don't know if he was Korean, but he was one of those guys where he would always be on your ass, you know.
Yeah.
And like my friend was like taking like stock away in the back, you know. And he worked in a supermarket. It was I think it might have been Korean market. I'm not sure. And the boss would have a camera on the workers just as much as he would have for the customers.
Wow.
So my friend would just like drop. He would like put down the box and just like take like a little breather. And he goes, "Mendoza, what do you think you're doing? I pay you to take a break," like that. And the guy's like,
For like 1 second.
yeah, like, and he didn't even know, and it was on the speaker, like in the back.
The voice of God.
Yeah, and he's like, "What?" He's like, "What the hell?"
That's great.
That's funny.
Oh, man. Mendoza. I would be so mad.
I know the guy. He
Yeah.
quit that day.
I would quit too. Oh god, good stuff, guys. Yeah, it was quite an introduction, guys. We're 20 minutes into the show and we haven't even gotten to the column yet.
Wow.
That's just, you know,
why?
we
Why
got good friends.
Why
right
even
now.
deal with the call?
No, we must deal with the column.
No.
The listeners and readers.
I want to hear more pee stories.
Yeah, exactly. let's veer away from the shit, piss, and lazy Mendozas of the introduction and get towards something else. So this week I wrote a column called "Definition of a Douche."
Oh, hey, good. We got rid of the piss and the
Wow.
shit stories.
Yeah, we got the douche.
Way to change the topic.
Yeah,
of that
well
one,
now it's women's fault, I guess.
Segue.
Exactly. So, but in all fairness to me, we're talking about douche the person, not douche the douche. So I've been using this word a lot more lately as a negative term. And
Just really quick, that was a Jeopardy category yesterday. Douche the person, not douche the douche.
Wow.
Right.
And it was
Right.
you had to pick which if it was a douche,
That
douchey
might have been
person
some
or
questions.
a douchey
Right.
product.
That'd be a great.
Ryan Seacrest though actually it's
Both.
actually a product of
He's
douche. Yeah,
both.
it's
He's
both.
both. He has his own line of
Very
What
douches.
is Seacrest?
Right. He has his own line. All right, cool. Thank you, Sean. That was necessary.
Do a whip check on that, buddy.
So let me get this out of the way so we can get back to you guys. So I wrote about. I actually defined what a douche is, which is actually me just right now. Sean. It's pretty much what a douche
We're all
is.
douches here.
Done.
So I defined what a douche is, and let me just read the definition so that we have no mistakes.
The Urban
here.
Dictionary.
Yeah, here we go. My definition of a douche is, and I got real clear here. I said, a douche is an individual who acts without considering how intelligent, reasonable people will perceive his or her actions. So, and I found other definitions of douche online. I shared them all. So that's what the column was about. Now, it was kind of funny. We were talking about this before the show. As a term of endearment, Carlos, you often call Mike a douche or a douchebag.
Yeah, sometimes when it's
It's
kinda,
playful though.
Yeah, it's a little playful because sometimes like he wants to talk about
So,
his
like, give me an
garden.
example of, like,
he
when-
wants to talk about his garden. He's like Carlos, you got to check out this garden.
And
Look
you'll
at this."
say,
and I'm like, come on, douchebag, let's play the game. Let's finish this video game.
right?
You know. So that would be like the way it would be, and then sometimes like he'd be like, hey, where do you want to go eat? And I go, La Salsa. He's like, come on, you could do better than that. I'm like, listen, douchebag, I'm just hungry. If you want to go somewhere specific, tell me.
Sometimes I'll just have a message on my machine, and it'll be like,
Oh,
Carl's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, douchebag, just trying to see what's going on.
And
I call back, I'd be like, hey, fuck face, what's going on? How you
Whoa,
doing?
that's a little harsh. there,
I
right?
would think, yeah, douchebag is softer than douche. Like, you
Yeah.
call somebody a douche, it's a little harsher.
Well,
than
we
I think
talked about
douchebag.
this.
But this is
Like,
actually the bag that you deposit the douche in.
yeah, when you talk about somebody,
that is
usually
true, yeah.
usually call them a douche. Like, that guy's a douche, but to their face, it's douchebag.
Douchebag.
Like, because
Yeah.
douche is like douchey behavior or douche like.
Yeah.
But douche, if you're like, if you're playful, it's douchebag. Or if you like really think somebody's a douchebag, you go, hey, douchebag.
I think,
You-
like-
it hits harder.
I think I would say this, like leave a message on Mike's, because I think I saw a Mr. Show sketch where they kept doing was insulting each other, but it was like a fun insulting.
Yeah,
Like,
we always do it.
Yeah, so that's why I do it. I don't know.
Right. It has nothing to do with the passive aggressive.
No.
Ness of your,
For you,
friendship.
maybe.
For me,
yeah.
okay,
for
well,
you,
that's-
maybe.
It's weird, like, douchebag. It makes me think of like that old prank, like where you take a shit in a
What?
paper bag.
Watch what you're gonna say.
Good, we're
Are
back
you
to shit.
listening?
No, no,
Are you
no.
listening to what you're saying?
It's been
Have you
4
guys-
minutes,
Kevin,
so good.
Kevin, have
good.
you ever heard the prank like where you take a shit in a paper bag and then you light it on fire?
Oh yeah, of course.
Knock on the
That's
door.
It was
That's
a
not the prank.
It's not your own shit. It's dog
Take
shit.
the shit.
Oh well, either
You
way,
don't
it's
use
shit.
you don't use your own poop though.
Wow.
That has never been part of that deal.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, it
the
completely
idea-
matters.
I think your own shit sound like racial.
all right, if you watch Billy Madison, they immortalized the prank,
Right.
and yeah, they do use dog shit
Right.
in
Right.
Billy Madison. And
But
then,
the
yeah.
idea is so like when the person stomps it out, they step in shit.
Yeah.
See, I never understood that.
You
I just
can
thought-
understand a lot of things about
No,
that
I just,
prank.
I just thought like literally you were lighting a bag of shit on fire and then it would stink.
Joe, you had a.
Oh, no, you got-
Mike
that's
was
when they put it
double-
out.
Wait, hold on.
Let's paint this picture. Mike's
Hold
got
on.
a cowboy hat
Okay.
on, and he was pointing both of his
Both-
fingers out like he had like two
Two
6-finger
guns.
like
Yeah.
guns, and he's like,
Amazing.
when I light the poop on fire, like he was shooting Sean and
You,
Carlos.
I'm making my case with these two phony guns.
You think you're a cowboy? You really do.
He's a young Ross Perot.
He's an old Don Imus.
I'd say he's an old T. I'd say Mike's an old T. Boone Pickens.
Kevin
Look at
actually
him. Look at him.
Kevin has a cowboy hat just like me.
No.
And Kevin and I are talking about running all the spaghetti westerns and putting on our cowboy hats and watching.
Well, that would seem
Oh,
that
wow.
would be an
That's
appropriate
what-
venue
yeah.
for that.
Douchebag.
Yeah.
Ambition.
That fucking hat. Mike, you recently saw the world's biggest douchebag in a car.
Yeah, and you guys will not believe this story.
Whoa.
It kind of makes
You could say that before everything you say.
Are you real?
It's really weird. I'm not very vindictive or anything, and I wouldn't wish harm on anybody. But
Whoa.
it was one of those stories that literally said, like it told me, like, you hear about someone really nice and cool, dying of cancer or something, right? And it really made me think, like, wow, you gave that person cancer, God, and you didn't give him cancer, And it was very wrong of me to say, but it pissed me off. Like, I was driving, and I was, I think I was on one of the streets, near where I live.
Sesame.
Too many
And,
details. Just be general.
Just blow
be
it.
general.
Just go.
Just be
go.
general. Don't worry about detail.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of have to because it was a surface street, and
not an air street.
Not,
You mean
not one of those hover streets.
Yeah.
Was it a hover street?
Like Back to the Future too.
so anyway, I pull up to this light, and there's a guy in a Hummer that pulls up next to me. So we're stopped at a light. He gets out of his car and goes like 2 cars back to talk to one of his friends
Whoa.
in another Hummer. So then the light turns green. The guy is still talking to his friend.
Yeah.
And then the person that's in between that wants to go, because, hey, it's a green light,
Right.
the person starts honking. So then this douchebag, he just comes back and he's like, what? What the fuck is the matter? And then I was looking at the guy, and then I was realizing I was being a douchebag because I wasn't going either. I was just in awe that this guy literally stopped and was pissed that this other motorist was honking for him to go.
Wow.
And at that moment, I said, God, if you exist, why don't you really prove it and smite this guy? Blow his hubcaps off.
I could feel the rage.
You do know that Osama bin Laden's still alive.
Yeah.
Right.
I just, there are some people out there who have done some worse things. Maybe to
That
lick
is a
cancer
pretty
off.
crazy story.
It just
though.
pissed me off, though.
Yeah.
And then I started going.
No, I agree.
I was watching. The guy still didn't move. There was a line of cars. I'm talking like 20, 30 cars behind him while this douchebag was arguing with the guy that was honking for him to move.
Let's quickly examine the levels of douchiness. Number one, Hummer. Douchey driver.
Did he have
What an
spiky
ass.
hair?
Right
Did he
off
have
the
spiky
bat.
Number
hair?
two, right off that, what did he look like? What was his
what was he
physique?
wearing?
What did he look like? What was he wearing?
Oh, he was wearing like it was like a gym suit kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, fuck him.
God.
Two levels
Fuck
of douche.
him.
Okay,
What-
what's his hairstyle?
Okay.
Yeah.
He had one of
Already
those
know
like
it's
short kind of like
Spiked up.
Yeah,
like,
spiked
flat
Spiked up.
haircut.
That's 3 levels of douche.
Asshole.
Did the guy walk or jog to his friend's car?
he kind of like walked to his friend's car.
That's 4 levels
he
of
sounds-
douche.
he
No
sounds-
sense calling douchey.
No sense
Walking's
of urgency.
douchey.
Well, no, walking in that situation, you at
Oh,
least
yeah.
do like the fake jog or something.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Like
Show.
when you when the you're crossing the street
Right.
and the hand
Exactly,
is
yeah,
solid
yeah.
and you just fake it, but you're like,
Right.
fuck you.
You
I
move your
wanna go
elbows
across
just
the
slightly
street.
rapidly, and the other person
Exactly.
just knows
True.
at least you acknowledge their
Done.
Right.
4 levels of douchebaggy.
So it's 4 levels of douchebaggy. The fact that the guy didn't move when the traffic moved is 5
5.
levels of douchebaggy. The fact that he yelled at somebody is 6 levels of douchebaggy. Was there any other behavior after? Did he
You
eventually
should
just
have
drive
honked your
away?
car too, Mike.
Yeah.
Why did you just stand there and be a silent witness?
Were you wearing your hat?
You should have contributed.
Yeah,
to
what
your
about the
rage.
Good Samaritan
Thing
law?
is, though, I realized like I actually was staying there and I was holding back traffic myself just because I was so in awe.
You're a
And I'm like,
douche.
holy shit, I can't do this. And yeah, I don't want to be a douchebag, so I started driving.
Next time,
But I checked in the rearview mirror and it was still going on even after I started going. It was crazy.
Mike,
Yep,
you have
6 levels of douchebag.
you have
cancer.
to learn to honk your cancer wishes at people.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you are angry
exactly.
and you wish
You know,
cancer,
and I don't want
direct it
to.
off.
I don't want to give the wrong idea. Like I would never wish anything upon anybody, but it just makes you wonder sometimes. You know, like we have this level, like after hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, and then you look at something like that. I don't even think it's a person, really. It's just an ass. You know.
Well, you know,
Again-
actually, I think there. Sorry to interrupt, but I think
no.
in history, I think people were kind of like that. You know, evolution, and I think we were allowed. People could just murder them without any.
Also,
like if they were cavemen,
good
you would
point,
you would
Carlos.
just
Right,
kill
good
the
point.
guy, and then
Carlos
you
brings
would
up a
go
good
away.
point.
You
If
know.
you want to go back in history, 2 things. Like there was a time in history when we needed that guy to defend the city walls
Right,
against hordes of
right.
invaders, and now he has no city walls, so he's going
Right.
to block up traffic and be a douche.
Right now,
Yeah.
you gotta now
Typical.
you can't really kill him, but you could argue. You could
Right.
wave your fist
Like,
at him.
But
Yeah.
we might need that guy again. And I
Right.
just point you to any big budget disaster film. There's always the douchebag who kind of serves as a human shield. He dies, but he always does something that kind of helps us.
He redeems himself at the very end.
Yeah.
He's like, we should go this way, and the wolf kills him. Oh, now we know not to go that
Exactly.
way.
That's what
Uh,
he's more
the
like that.
sacrifice.
Not
The
even
sacrifice.
The wolf won't be
redeeming
hungry for
himself.
10 minutes. We
Exactly.
If
Yeah.
there's a horror film tomorrow,
Nice.
if we're in a situation where there's a serial murderer, he's going to be one of the first to die
Yeah.
right before the minority character dies.
Really?
And I think we need
Sorry,
him
Carlos.
to do that.
Why are you? I had nothing to do with this.
I actually, it's kind of funny. I have this running joke with Carlos, and we've had this joke since I think I've known him. But
You mean your joke?
well, it's kind of hard. I have this thing in all seriousness, and I'm not kidding. Like, if I had millions of dollars and I was kind of like just a wealthy millionaire that could just
We got yeah.
do whatever in life, I would go out and seek out the chupacabra.
No, you can't be serious,
Yeah.
Mike. Thank God you set that up with all seriousness.
Wow.
All I want to do is find it and like get it in a cage so that I can take a picture with it and then let it go.
You better have a pretty big cage, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buddy.
Well, actually, the chupacabra.
You better have a
Kevin, is,
mythical cage.
I just like to point out that I don't know. Joe didn't point out the new format of the show. That was just Mike Costantini's non sequitur hour.
No, it's
Wow.
not. It's not.
Yeah.
If you let me finish. See, and for the record, Kevin, the chupacabra, it's only about like 3 feet
How
tall.
do you know this?
Nobody knows, Mike.
Apparently, it's a very just angry little furry creature. But
By the way, you're listening to Mike Costantini's non sequitur hour.
Hang on.
I
It
always
eats
told Carl-
goats. It eats goats. How could a little 3-foot thing be like the
Eat a
scourge
goat.
of the
because
goat
they look
population?
huge
a
after
goat
eating
is
a
only
goat.
3 feet.
Right, so it would be bigger than a goat.
Yeah, so it'd
it'd
be a
about the same
match for
size.
this. So
All
it
right.
wouldn't.
But anyway, I don't want to
I'll
get
do a
okay,
chupacabra
okay.
column at some point.
He's
in
a
the
little,
future.
he's a little furry, angry creature. But anyway, I always tell Carlos, I'm like, because it's been spotted in Argentina. you
No,
know?
it hasn't.
Yes, it has.
Prove it, dude.
So I said, hey, Carlos, if I were a rich millionaire, I would take you to Argentina with me, and we would go search the chupacabra. I could use a good man down there to guide me. And
Why
and
would
Carlos,
All right.
Carlos, I think what you did say was, what the fuck do I look like, Pablo or something?
Yeah, I think that
The
was...
guide always dies. I'm not going to take you down there. And it is true. The guide always dies.
Well,
Yeah.
I think I would have pushed you into the chupacabra and then go away, then walk away or something.
Mike-
That's a pretty douchey move, if you
yeah,
ask me.
I know.
But it's been a funny joke, Carlos.
I
I
just
always
wanna
say
say-
to Carlos, I need a good man down in Argentina.
Mike, Carlos, it's a very good joke.
It was the greatest joke. It's quite a legend.
Carlos, that's a great joke.
It was. It is.
You have a big part in that joke.
I'm
What's
so happy.
even funnier is, Mike, how did you have that joke without
Like-
Carlos?
Right.
Like I'm like,
You're just an imagine there was
You know
a blank space for who that friend would be.
you know,
Well, it's a funny,
the
it's a
joke.
funnyism. It's a funnyism.
You know the
too.
joke
Oh,
about like
Just changing the word joke into another word doesn't
maybe I
make up
shouldn't-
for the fact that there's no way that you could have had that funnyism all by yourself, since it revolves around Carlos being a guide and responding with the punchline.
All right, I shouldn't have said joke. I should have said funnyism.
Oh, you're missing the point. It's not about the word.
A funnyism
It's
is a
about the
joke not
word
intended
I had.
to
Right.
Yeah,
provoke laughter.
yeah.
A funnyism is clearly a not funny joke.
It always makes me
Yeah.
laugh.
I'm the chicken in that joke. Where why did a chicken cross the road? I'm the
right.
chicken.
You got roped into it
Yeah.
against your will.
You're not supposed to enjoy a funnyism.
All right,
No.
that's true. That's true. Hey, Kevin, you and not everybody always does this, so I'm gonna give you a shot. You called into question a couple things I wrote in this column.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank
yeah,
God.
Balls
bring it
of
on.
steel.
Bring it on.
Yeah,
big
yeah,
boy.
yeah. I called up the bullshit.
Call out the
Whoa.
bullshit.
Yeah. Thanks.
Wait,
Kevin,
don't high five.
for those
Kevin
who
and
can't see
Carlos
Carlos-
just high-fived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
About
it-
time somebody stood up.
You stand up against me every week.
And
you
there was a
stand against
crackle of thunder
me. yeah.
right when we did it.
Yeah.
So the I don't got it in front of me.
You
Where
had
is
2
it?
points. The first was about the baby.
Oh, yeah. Okay. First off, hang on. Let me see the script
He's
here.
really not. He knows everything that he's going to say, but right now Joe has a gun pointed at him. A gun which he stole from Mike Costantini
Off his belt.
Off his belt.
Yeah, so many paragraphs down, Joe starts describing all kinds of different examples of douches: Bill O'Reilly, Lou Dobbs, Ann Coulter, Hillary Clinton, so on and so on. And at the very end, I assume humorously, because it doesn't make any sense, it says
Funny as
babies who cry on airplanes. And then in parentheses, that is the ultimate of douchey behavior.
yeah.
However, a baby doesn't know any better. If you're a douche, like, you know better. You were aware of better behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about streams of
All right.
consciousness.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me respond to that. That's part of a joke that Carlos and I had. Well, the funniest.
Don't
why you
get
didn't
me
laugh.
involved.
That's
man.
why you didn't laugh, and it didn't make any sense.
Oh, keep your funnyisms out of the second column, okay? That's
Well,
fine.
wait. I do have a response to that, and I think I just would like to point out that by you calling out Joe's joke, it's kind of like calling out why did the chicken cross the road and going, well, obviously he had a reason to get there other than to get to the other side. I mean, obviously there was probably something on the other side.
No, but I totally understand that. But I'll challenge. Here's what I was thinking. Here's my thinking process.
Okay,
why I wrote
go.
That was that babies can be douchey because they're not aware of their douchey behavior. So basically, they're inconsiderate of others, and they're basically little jerks.
Really?
Yeah, and
but they don't mean it though.
No, even if they don't mean it, it's
The parents
still
are the ones
douchey.
that are jerks.
Well, the parents can be looped into the
No,
douchiness too.
okay.
So what you can't. So I guess I would
Perhaps
never.
we're splitting hairs.
Right. I think we are splitting hairs, but it was just an example of like what douchey behavior would be.
No.
It would be to like make a fool of yourself on a plane
Yeah,
in
yeah,
front
yeah.
of people and have no remorse over it, which is what a baby does.
Right.
So, that was my
When's
point.
the last time you saw a baby feel bad for anything?
Nothing. Like I wanna
Babies
see-
have no guilt.
I want to see one guilty baby.
Yeah.
just one guilty
One baby just be like,
Right.
fess up, like, sorry, my
What?
fault,
Right.
my fault.
These tears are tears of guilt.
Whoa.
And anyway, and at the end of the column, there's an anecdote about a girl being picked up by a guy, and the guy is made out to be the douche. Should I give the whole example here?
Yeah. Go ahead
Yes.
and
All
read
right.
it.
So, well, but basically the pickup line is the guy comes up and he says to her, "I didn't know how attractive you were until I saw you in a dress." Now, admittedly, it's a poor pickup line. You know, it's easy to pick apart.
Right.
But like, there's like 3 points where the girl's like, "Well, like I take offense in this way, and
Well,
I take offense in that way."
In all
and,
fairness,
like,
I put those in there. So that
but
was
still
me.
use that
Oh.
voice you're using.
Right, but still, that was me.
Yeah.
So you can use my voice.
Yeah.
saying-
Have you-
I imagine whoever this girl is, this is how she talks. I'm gonna die
Is she
alone.
retarded?
She's actually like the nicest person, but
Fuck her. Who is she?
Whoa.
Do I know, have I met her?
I'm not gonna say. She's a friend of mine, and she didn't write any of those things.
She deserves something venereal and severe. like tomorrow. Okay?
Definition of a douche.
Oh, she did. Why? Because she got insulted. Because she was insulted by somebody.
Wait, okay, hold on.
because she got insulted by somebody trying to give her a compliment. My point: she's the douche in the story, not the guy. She's the douche.
It was the ultimate backhanded compliment, though.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, yes, it was.
No, it was like, you look nice in the dress is what he's basically saying.
Oh.
Like, that's a pretty
true.
dress.
It's
You
like,
look nice in the dress.
The guy
yeah.
could just be saying like, "Wow, I've never seen a dress
He
before."
said, "I
and it
didn't
really compliments
notice."
you.
He said, "I didn't notice how pretty you were until you wore a dress."
Until
as I
tells
pointed out-
the.
Yeah, exactly.
As I
Compliments
pointed
don't
out-
have until,
Right.
but,
Yeah.
As I
or
pointed out,
because
That
of
is
them.
true. That
I
is
have my
true.
3 examples. I said, unless her face was covered while she was wearing blouses and sweaters, like that means he never thought her face was attractive. Because when you have a dress
butterface.
on, but it's not the case.
Wow.
So again,
Oh, I don't
also the guy thinks that she will take this as a compliment. That means that the guy doesn't think she's smart. And then the other thing is, he's basically saying, now that I can see more of your ass and breasts, you're hot. So
We're crucifying the guy for being a little playful. What's wrong with being a little playful
Kevin,
in a compliment?
you're sticking up for every half-buzzed guy in a bar
Yeah.
everywhere who says the wrong thing.
It's really hard to compliment a girl, man.
Have
I
you?
mean,
It's true.
Well,
like,
you
can
just did a
imagine
great
the
job
co-
minutes ago
Yeah.
What?
complimenting that girl that said all this
Oh,
stuff.
that doesn't. I don't know who she is. She's probably. I bet she's a really nice person.
She
I'm sorry.
is, yeah.
I take back. I certainly don't wish cancer on her like Mike does.
Oh, you're an asshole, man.
But no,
I know.
this is for our women audience members.
No,
but,
for everybody.
But no, particularly for the women though, maybe you can write in about this. Like, some women do like kind of the backhanded compliment thing. Is that not true?
Some women like backhands.
I don't know.
now he's
that's more true.
Alright.
now he's
I,
acting like I miss too.
I will
Right.
never, I will never give a woman a backhanded compliment. But some women, they like guys to be a little bit of an asshole sometimes, right?
no, I
Wait,
don't.
who are you saying right to?
Yeah, not me.
Who in this room understands women so greatly? And I'm
Right.
speaking of present company
Right.
included.
We've had many of our listeners have written in saying, "Stop talking about women." because you're
You know
idiots."
what? They should stop. Hey,
Hey, I'm not doing it, but I'm just saying, like, this is some
Yeah,
women
right.
like
no,
to date
I agree with you, Mike.
jackhole guys.
Yeah,
Well,
they do like
and
assholes.
sometimes like that little
Yeah.
thing, the neg, as you call it, or whatever.
The
I
way-
didn't, I didn't call it.
not
It's
you,
just
but,
something that
no, that was
Neil
the
Strauss
whole
called it,
conversation
yeah.
you guys had before he met you.
the
Right.
neg
Right.
that Neil Strauss talks about. That some women kind of like that slight.
Yeah,
neg.
it works when the guy is handsome. It's great. It's great. But your regular Joe 18 pack tries that move.
Yeah.
Hey,
and,
I'll
no
never
way.
understand it, but
I'd let a hot girl punch me in the face. I mean, like if that's how
Wow.
she was hitting on me,
Right.
you know.
But-
But
If
you're
a
a
hot
guy.
girl
You're a
figures-
guy.
I've,
Come
I've
on.
got more respect than that. If a girl wants to punch me in the face, and that's the only way, like, no. Nuh-uh. You got to
You-
try harder to be nice to me, all right?
So if it meant like you could totally hook up with her that night, you still won't let her punch
Yeah.
you in the face.
My punches in the face
Hold on,
don't come
he's-
with.
he's considering.
Well, mine.
Kevin's
Come on, a
considering.
real hot girl.
Well, I guess it kind of depends on a real hot girl, you
Yeah,
say?
real hot
like a
girl.
solid LA 9.
Not just hot, real hot.
Like
and it doesn't come with a restraining order like yours do.
Playboy Playmate or some model, some
Yeah.
supermodel, maybe.
Oh, we were talking like. Well, yeah, punch me in the face, I guess.
Yeah,
See,
right.
very
Yeah.
good.
Did you just
okay.
say a play-by-playmate?
A play
Because I'd like to
Playboy.
coin
Not
that
Playboy.
term.
And the thunder strikes again.
Play-by-playmate.
All right, enough of the thunder.
Okay.
I like the play-by-playmate as the girls on, like on the NBA shows and the NFL shows.
Play-by-playmate.
A play-by-playmate.
That would actually
Oh.
be a
Who
good
interview the athletes? We got
Yeah,
we're going to Corinne.
Well,
on the
that's for the
field.
lesbian audience. That's for the watching.
What's
the,
for everybody? That's
What?
for everybody.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Well, I'd
that's
say
for me
it's for
too.
everybody,
That's for
yeah.
me too.
I would watch it.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. Like also.
Unless
for the
you're
lesbian.
gay, Carlos.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gay.
I really like it in like basketball or like football when there's a very hot
Stop
female, announcer.
Kevin
that
Garnett
knows a lot.
flirted with the girl when
Michelle
he won the
Tafoya.
championship.
I
Michelle Tafoya.
find that
Yeah.
very
He
sexy.
said you look good.
I believe he said
Well, you
something
could get
about-
away with
guy,
that.
for a
He said
guy
something
like Kevin
along
Garnett.
the lines- I didn't know how attractive you were until I held this NBA trophy in my hand. I believe that's what he said.
I think that's what she said too.
Wow.
Yeah.
But for a guy like Kevin Garnett, that's all you have to say. You don't have to say
No, for
anything.
a guy like Carvin, all you have to do is walk in the room if you're Kevin Garnett.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, he's a big guy. Yeah.
All right, it's about that time.
This Clamato beer is not bad, actually.
Oh gosh.
It's starting to taste pretty good.
Give us a quick 10-second review now that you've had the.
Yeah, what do you think,
full-
Kevin?
Let me feel how.
I took 47 shots of that. What was it?
Wow, it's like half empty.
What? How many shots was
Oh,
it? Do you guys
bullshit.
remember?
Well, it couldn't have been more than 24 shots, as that is all that is in there.
Well, no, I had 2 of those though.
Oh, then you could have taken up to 48 shots.
yeah, 48 shots, right?
Okay.
The acidity of the tomato is negated by the
Beer.
presence.
Yeah.
The carbonation of the beer.
My God, it's made him smart.
I've actually, Kevin, I've referred to it as it's basically like if a tomato had sex with a clam.
I
boy.
My God, it's
imagine
made him stupid.
I imagine a clam raping a can of beer, and then a tomato walking in going, "What are you doing?"
Right,
and then the clam's like, "No cops," and that. And that's it. That's what it is in a can, basically. Yeah.
Is it you that had the fear of tomatoes or the hate?
Yeah,
tomatoes?
yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin,
Oh, yeah,
Kevin doesn't
yeah.
like tomatoes.
That's right. We discussed that on the first podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
I told that story.
You were force fed tomatoes as a
By
child.
my
As a
grandma.
child,
yeah.
And yet, this is a pretty big step that you're drinking a tomato based beer.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
that's so
actually,
weird.
I didn't even think of that.
So
He's gonna start throwing up pretty soon.
That's the way he's gonna bad childhood memories.
No, grandma, no.
No, grandma.
I'm having that flashback as we speak.
Oh shit.
God, good thing Mike hasn't shown you his garden yet with all the tomatoes.
Well, actually, I have shown Kevin my garden.
All right, Mike. Let's do it. It's about that time. All right, we've reached the aftermath. It's time to start to bring things home. We're gonna go around the room. Everyone's gonna give their final thought of the day. We will start where we always do, in over here on Hat Mountain. Over here in
At the old mine town, the old saloon.
Lidsville, USA. Population Mike.
Yeehaw, it's time for my aftermath.
Oh boy.
God. Wow.
Look at Mike's face.
Partner.
Nobody's looking him in the eyes.
No,
right now.
don't.
Nobody's looking.
No,
him in the
I looked
eyes.
him right in the eyes.
No,
when
I
he did
already,
that.
I already explained. Like, it's kind of an awkward situation, especially when we have female guests on. This is going to be very awkward, but I just have to explain the hat away, I guess.
Or you cannot wear it.
Yeah, that's the awkward part.
But, no, for my aftermath tonight, I had something else, but since we got on the subject of jokes, there's this girl I've kind of been texting back and forth, and she's kind of having a bad day.
Sounds serious.
So, no, not at all.
Is this the one you went? Is this the one you went on the date with, or no?
No, she never called back.
Sounds
So
serious.
the dating thing's going really well, but
Is that the hot girl?
So wait, which one? Without saying her name, which one is the one you're texting right now?
Yeah, just say her full name like you
Or don't
usually do.
you don't? But like, where did
Say
you
her
meet her,
address.
or which?
no, I just know her, and she was having a bad day, and last night I texted her a joke, and I did it kind of in a threefold pattern,
You sent 3 different. Texts.
Yeah, exactly, because you don't want to give it all away.
Like
in
knock.
One shot. You don't want to.
Knock knock.
You don't wanna-
Did you wait for her to write back? Who's there? Did she have to write back? Who's there?
Yeah, no.
Did Carlos help with the joke?
Yeah, I had to write it.
You don't want to blow the load. You don't want to blow the load all in one text.
Whoa.
Well, no, but the thing is,
Blow
like
the
you
load.
and Carlos have such great joke writing
Yeah.
chemistry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to break that up.
Very
So anyway,
Martin Lewis.
the joke that I wrote her, page 1 was, or text 1. I said, 2 cows are sitting on top of a hill. And then the
God.
next text was,
How long did you wait? Did you let her sweat it out for that?
No, I didn't.
She's like, I can't wait for this.
the suspense of this joke, I think, was too much, so I just kind of kept it going.
Sure. Yeah.
And then the second text was, the one cow says to the other cow, "Hey, you hear about this mad cow disease? It's pretty scary." And then the next text was, the other cow said, "Well, I can't get mad cow disease." And then the next text is, the other
I
cow
thought you
saying,
said it was
"Well,
3
It's
for
Yeah.
4. Okay, so that's 4 texts.
Yeah, whatever.
It's 4 texts.
I don't remember the amount, but
All right.
so then the other cow says, "Well, how do you know you're not going to get mad cow disease?"
Uh-huh.
And the last one,
5.
5.
Stop pointing.
the cow says, "'Cause I'm a helicopter." Beautiful
Wow.
joke.
Man.
He was
look-
mad to
innocent
begin
pussy.
with. That's funny.
Anyway, she wrote back and she's like, "Hey, that was the best cow joke I've ever heard."
Out
Oh,
of 3 cow jokes
It's
out of
probably-
history.
I've got a cow joke that'll rip that joke's ass.
Do you really?
Now-
Do you really? I want to hear Kevin's
right, let's
cow
hear
joke.
it out.
One last
We are
thing I'll
playing in
say.
the loser playoffs right now. I'd
This
like
is
to
the
bring that
loser?
back. This is the loser
One
playoffs.
one
This
last
is the
thing I'll
cow
say. I'm terrible on the phone. I've left stupid messages where I talk too much.
Y'all know.
But I heard something today that redeemed me, and it is on Joe's website, and you should all check it out. It is a message that this true douchebag named Dimitri left to this woman Olga, and all I'm saying is you just have to listen to it.
They've been playing it a lot on the radio. I actually heard it on the radio
Have
on
they?
2 different, on KLOS and K-Rock.
Yeah.
both.
So it's on my
And-
website. Check it out.
And when you listen to it, I will want you to ask yourself, want you to ask yourself, hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, this is where we are.
Yeah. Well, like I haven't explained it to you.
I think we just heard the sign off if
Yeah.
Mike had his own radio show.
Yeah.
Like that would be it. A weekly topic show.
The tumbleweed just
He
fast by.
just tipped his hat.
And he just tipped his
Probably
hat.
out there.
He just
He
took
just
his-
doffed his
Well,
cap for
All
us.
right, Kevin, I want to hear your superior cow joke.
It's actually a bull joke now that I think about it.
It's still
Fair
in the
enough.
bovine
Probably
family.
better
It's in
than
the same, the same genus.
I really talked it up. Okay, all right. So these the two bulls are on top of a hill, right? And didn't yours start on top of a hill?
Yeah, they're always on top of
I
the
totally thought you were gonna tell this joke. All right, so these two bulls are on top of a hill, right? A young bull and an old bull, and down on the plains there's a whole herd of cows, right? And the young bull like goes to the old bull like, hey, tell you what, let's run down there, downhill, fast as we can, straight towards those herd of cows. We catch one and we fuck the shit out of it. What do you say? Let's do it. And the old bull's like, no, I don't want to do it. The young bull's like, come on, why not? What's the matter with you? Come on. The old bull's like, no, you got it all wrong. See, what we got to do is we saunter down there, really slow downhill, right? Then we can both fuck whatever cow we want as hard as we want. Something like that. I forget the punchline.
Was that even a punchline?
You know what?
That was horrible.
Kevin still wins.
Yeah, it was still
Kevin
funnier.
still
It was still funnier.
It was horrible, yet it made sense.
Right,
it
right.
made sense.
It totally made sense. There's a lot more logic to it.
It's on a Liz Fair CD too. Like, yeah, I
Oh
can't
my
remember.
gosh.
You get all your farm humor from Liz Fair.
Liz
CD.
Fair, yeah. Liz Fair tells the best cow jokes. Yeah.
Oh god, that's good. That's great, Kevin. Fantastic.
God damn it. Did that count as big goodbye?
No, we'll give you a chance to redeem yourself.
Okay,
But first we'll go to Carlos.
Oh my
Carlos.
god! Speaking of Douche chills all over, dude, for those jokes, man.
Yeah,
Killing me.
those weren't good jokes.
When Mike said that line about like what I probably said to you,
Pablo?
Yeah, I was like, Douche chills just happened to me. Like, I was just like, I can't believe I said that.
Who were you more embarrassed for?
I think for me, and
You remembered it though. You
I do remember it, but it was one of those things where I'm like, why is this still out there?
You know what it
Like,
was? It was one of those you had to be there
Yeah.
moments, where it was like just a funny back and forth.
We might have been drunk too. I don't know what the deal was, but you should bury that.
Do you
Mike.
want to disavow any ownership of that joke?
Yeah, bury it.
Do you want
Bury
to
it.
distance yourself from that joke?
Bury it at Wounded Knee, there, buddy. Okay, because it doesn't want to come back.
I think with that hat, he would bury it.
And and I just remembered actually of a movie that Kevin was talking before this podcast, and I want to see if they could look it up.
Yeah, what was the movie you mentioned?
Douchebag Murder?
The douchebag murders?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Give us the quick IMDb recap. I'm sure it's on IMDb. Give us the quick recap.
I don't think it is actually.
Yeah.
But it was the douchebag murders is about this serial killer who kills people with a douchebag. He like kind of wraps the hose around their neck and strangles them.
That's the name, or is it
the
people
name of the movie.
Is it people he is killing? Are they douchebags like assholes themselves?
No,
like
they're just
jerks?
like
No, it's like the
They're-
guy,
they're-
like the strangler
Oh.
who's a strangler.
yeah.
Okay.
They're innocent strangers. Yeah, and then there's a cop who's on his case and he's trying to track him down, but he's like an alcoholic who gets kicked out of bars, and the douchebag murderer, like in between victims, he'll douche himself in the ass. Like we were talking about earlier, Mike.
Oh yeah. Well, you guys are always
That's
talking.
that's between you guys.
Right.
Mike just tipped his hat again.
Right.
And then at the end of the movie, the cop finally tracks down the douchebag murderer, like to where his lair is.
Douche chills.
But the douchebag murderer kills himself with douche accidentally. Like he douches his ass so much that like just like all this shit starts coming out, and then his intestines. And
He overdouched.
He overdouches himself, and he
Yeah.
dies before the
This is not a porno.
before the detective. No, for the last time, Carlos.
Carlos thinks it's a
I think it's a gay
Carlos-
porno. That's what I
Carlos
think.
keeps thinking it's a no. It's not a porno.
Why would he
man.
Why would he think a movie where a guy douches himself in the asshole called the
Are you
douchebag
sure
murder?
they
be
didn't
a
edit the
porno?
scenes? Maybe they're gonna,
The
edit the sex scenes.
All right.
Well, that's the plot of the movie. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. All right.
And that count as my final
Yeah,
thought
you
too.
do because Carlos, we've pimped you into two things now. So now,
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
now do your thing. Do your thing. It's on.
Oh, I thought that could have been the final.
If you want, if you have another one, you can do it. If not, we'll go to Sean.
Do I have another point about douchebags?
Or just about the
oh,
podcast
well,
in general.
how about this? The only reason douches exist is because all you girls out there got dirty vaginas. I don't have a. Hey, let me talk. It's my final thought. Hey,
Are you sure you?
Let me talk.
Are
Let
you
me talk.
listening? What you're saying? Right now?
Carlos, hush your mouth, all right?
Oh, God.
Because the difference between you and me is I don't have to go to the store and buy some kind of bag with shit in it for my dick. My dick is great. It's beautiful. I love it. You should be ashamed of your hole.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I think this is our last podcast.
I think you just redeemed everything I wrote that you disagreed with. Oh man!
Ashamed.
Good. You know, our listenership's about 75% female. So,
Wow.
God, nice.
Well, if any single ladies are out there,
Oh
I live in the Hollywood area.
no! You can see
And,
Agent Bear.
Yeah, and I like not only going to the beach, but
No
I'll take it.
romantic walks.
You know, I like buying dinner, and
If you like dinner and silent cartoons, you're really gonna like
Nice.
yeah, and I'll respect you
it. Yeah, that's nice.
Wow.
All right, very good. That's
with your dirty hole and everything.
Oh no! Stop this!
No, hey, that's asking a lot. Respect with you. And your, okay, go.
Whoa, jeez.
they can't help it. That's just the way women are.
It's a
That's
runaway train.
how their
Oh, wow.
bodies function. They-
Shame,
Why is it a shame?
shame,
It's
dirty,
nature.
dirty.
All right,
Wow.
Sean.
I don't.
Sean, try.
No, I'm. You know what? I think that this is taking a negative turn. I think this podcast is taking a negative turn.
When?
Man.
When did that happen?
God, minutes.
Hey, hello everybody. That's what
40
I think it turned to a negative.
Yeah. But I think maybe I think this podcast right now, where we are in the podcast, I think we're having a bad day, and I want to tell a joke.
Oh, yeah, that'd
to
be
put
great.
us back into
That'd
a
be
good
great.
joke. I got a joke. It's also
I was having
about
a pretty good
cows.
day actually. But
I'm gonna do a
wanna put the
cow
cow-
joke to kind of put this back
Okay.
into a good
Put the
mood.
cowboy hat on.
Let's do a cow joke.
Yeah. No, actually, could I have the cowboy hat to put on while I tell the joke?
I don't
Give
know.
him the hat.
Give me the hat.
Give him the
Just
hat.
for
It's
the
gonna make
joke.
him feel like a.
All right, but you got to give it right back.
He'll give it
Okay,
back.
okay, you can't see this, but Mike just handed Sean the hat.
All right.
He looks like Young Guns.
I know. Yeah, you look like a young Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
So these
Like a
two
5-year-old
cows.
Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got a joke.
Okay.
These two cows are standing on a hill, and the one cow turns to the other one and goes, "You know, Cowlos, it's always been my dream to go find the chupacabra, and I hear that the chupacabras are, they're very prevalent in Argentina. And being from Argentina, I think I want to take you as my guide." To Argentina so that I can find the chupacabra. You can be my guide. And the other cow turns to Mike Costantini
Mike Costantini.
and says, "Gee, Mike, I'd love to do that, but don't you know who am I? Cowblow?
Cowblow.
All right, guys, I got to admit right now, this isn't really so much a joke as it is a funnyism.
I still got douche chills from that joke.
You got douche chills?
Oh
You got
gosh.
douche chills?
Yeah.
I'm getting douche bumps up and down my
I
arm.
know.
You guys
Awful.
are disgusting. It's terrible. All right.
I'm
The
ashamed.
douche hairs are standing on the back of my neck.
I know. Oh, stop saying that.
These jokes are like shit through a douche. They just keep coming out. Yeah, terrible.
What do they put in douche? Vinegar and rose petals?
What?
I don't know. You're the one with a deep knowledge of dirty holes.
Rose petals?
You would
Vinegar
know.
and rose petals.
No,
Isn't that the opposite of each other? almost?
Isn't that's what
What
Mike
do the
makes-
rose
that's like
petals
one of
do?
Mike's salads, I think.
Yeah.
That sounds like.
Wait, I don't need roses.
Yeah.
Dude, Mike, you've been
Get
making
sick.
douche salad this whole time.
Oh.
You didn't realize.
We've all been laughing for years. behind your
pizzone.
back.
Man,
That's
yeah.
the real joke.
Man, get sick from that.
All right, very good, guys. Thank you for joining me on this.
I want to be edited off this podcast.
Yeah, all right. This podcast will be 18 minutes long.
Okay,
We're
thank
going to edit
God.
out all the parts but Mike.
God. Oh God.
Can we replace Mike with Ed Galvez, the drunken Ed Galvez?
Yes, from the Kids in the Hall podcast.
Slow it down a little.
Yeah, we'll do that. All right, very good, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me. Before we go, Kevin, where can people see The Great Adventure?
Every Friday night at the Westside Eclectic in Santa Monica
Very good.
At 9:30.
at 9:30. Yes.
9:30. And once a month, Pangea, our improv group, opens for you guys, which is always usually the third Saturday
Of every month.
Or, I'm sorry, the third Friday of the month is when
Yep.
we open for you guys.
That's the ideal night to come. Yeah.
That's the best night of the month to come. And otherwise, yeah, if you're ever hanging out with Kevin, you can check out Agent Bear in his apartment.
And we can
you
watch
doing,
cartoons
And
too.
we can watch cartoons.
Are you doing
also.
stand up anytime soon or?
This Tuesday, the 29th,
Okay.
at the Westside Eclectic
Very nice.
for the show called Who's Available.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
And Kevin will be playing at Lilith Fair this summer.
Oh.
Yeah, he's opening for Liz Fair.
He's opening for Liz Fair with his band, Vinegar and the Dirty Fuckholes.
He's the new Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah. Vinegar, rose petals, and the dirty hole. We all look forward to that. All right.
I play vinegar.
All right. Thanks a lot,
And
Kevin.
I'm surrounded by dirty holes.
Oh.
We'll be back next week.
That's all for this episode of The Second Column. For more information, go to joedonatelli.com.